Today we are going to study central bank functions. What is central bank? It refers to an apex body that controls, regulates, directs the entire banking and monetary structure of the country. All financially developed countries have their own central bank. Central Bank of India is Reserve Bank of India. It was established on 1st April 1935. So let us discuss the functions of central bank: currency authority, banker to the government, banker's bank, and supervisor, custodian of cash reserves, lender of last resort, clearing house, custodian of foreign exchange reserve, control of money supply and credit. Central bank has the sole authority of issuing currency in the country. In India, RBI has the sole right of issuing paper currency notes except 1 rupee note and coins, which are issued by the Finance Ministry of India. Central bank keeps three main considerations regarding issue of notes, that is uniformity, elasticity and safety. Central bank is obliged to back the currency with the assets, gold coins, foreign securities, domestic governments, local currency securities of equal value to enhance the public confidence in paper currency. RBI tries to keep money growth within a target range and keeps inflationary pressure under control, and it strives to maintain at the lowest low level. Government is also authorized to borrow money from central bank. When government faces deficit in its budget, it borrows from central bank by selling its securities. When central bank acquires these securities, they issue new currency. This is known as monetizing the government debt or deficit financing. Now the next function is banker to the government. The Reserve Bank of India acts as a banker, agent and a financial advisor to the central bank and all the state government. As a banker, it carries out the following functions. It maintains a current account for keeping their cash balances. It accepts receipts and payments for the government and carries out exchange and other banking operations. It also gives loans and advances to the government for temporary periods. As an agent, the central bank also has the responsibility of managing the public debt. As a financial advisor, the central bank advises the government from time to time on economic, financial and monetary matters. Now the next is banker's bank and supervisor. The central bank acts as the banker to the banks in same way as commercial banks acts for general public. As the banker's bank, it performs the following functions. First of all, it accepts the deposits and advances loans to commercial banks. It also provides clearing house facility to the commercial bank. It is a check clearing facility provided at one center at all the banks. In its supervisory role, central bank regulates and controls commercial banks. The regulation of banks may be related to branch expansion, their licensing, etc. The control is exercised by periodic inspection of the banks and returns filed by them. Now the next function is custodian of cash reserves. Commercial banks are required to keep a certain proportion of their deposits, that is known as cash reserve ratio or CRR, with the central bank. In this way, central bank acts as a custodian of cash reserves of commercial banks. The next function is lender of last resort. When commercial banks fail to meet their financial requirements from other sources, they approach the central bank to give loans and advances as lender of the last resort. Central bank assists these banks through discounting of approved securities and bills of exchange. The next function is clearing house. As central bank holds the cash reserves of all the commercial banks, it becomes easier and more convenient for it to act as their clearinghouse. All commercial banks have their accounts with the central bank. Therefore, the central bank can easily settle claims of various commercial banks against each other by making debit and credit entries in their accounts. Next function is custodian of foreign exchange reserves. Central bank maintains foreign exchange reserve in order to promote international trade and also exercises managed floating to stabilize exchange rate for the domestic country by selling and purchasing of foreign exchange. Thank you.